Welcome. Thank you for being here. Those of you who don't know me, my name is Kim Jackson. I am now the interim chair of the Department of Language and Literature. It is with mixed emotions that I take this position in the place of Dr. Fiona Tolhurst, for whose life we're celebrating today. There are so many voices that need to be heard today that I'm going to keep mine very short. I just want to thank all of the people that helped to make this happen. There are too many of you to name, and I wouldn't remember them anyway. But I'm very appreciative, and I also appreciate all of the support that I've been given as I step into this role and try to lead this department forward. And I welcome you all, and I welcome all of the voices that are going to be heard today. We have several readers who are going to say some things that people have written to us about Fiona. And these people have volunteered to do this. If for some reason you are unable to continue, you got backup. Just pass it off. Somebody else will keep reading. So who would like to be the first reader? Thank you, Patrick.
Hello, my name is Patrick. Fiona Tolhurst was my friend and colleague. Today I would like to talk about when she and I became friends. It's interesting only in that I think a lot of people can relate to this. Fiona and I met the day she started teaching at FGCU. She stopped by my office to ask a question. Something easy, something they don't cover in new faculty orientation, like how do you log into the computers? We ended up talking for nearly a half hour. And by the time she left, we had a lunch date for later that week. I was confused, but she was delightful, so I saw no reason not to do it. As we shared a meal, Fiona openly shared about her journey to FGCU, regaling me with stories about her husband, her family, and of course, Alfred University. She was an open book. Once we parted, I thought, well, I guess I'm friends with Fiona now. I wasn't expecting it, and I'm not sure I fully consented, but it didn't really matter. Fiona had decided that I was to come along with her on her journey, and as I did, she proved to be the perfect friend. I could tell, you could tell Fiona anything. And not only would she respond with kindness and empathy, she would give wonderful advice that I made it my business to follow every single time, because it always worked. I valued the friendship, I valued her perspective, and I wanted her to be proud of me. I've never been shy about my opinion of Fiona. She was simply the most authentic person I'd ever met in my life. You always knew what you were going to get with Fiona. I could miss her every day for the rest of my life, but I think that we should choose to emulate her forever. Thank you.
So I'm going to keep this kind of open. So the next person who would like to come up and share some thoughts, whether they're yours or ones you've collected from other people, please do so. That's what this hour is all about.
Hello. It's already been said, thank you so much for being here. So my name is Lori Cornelius, and I've had the honor of working with Fiona more closely in the last couple of years, and it's truly been an honor. When I was a kid, I used to hear this quoted at memorials, Ecclesiastes 7:1. A good name is better than fine oil, and the day of one's death better than the day of one's birth. And as a child, I thought, what a crock. That can't be right. But today, it kind of hit me this morning, actually, that Fiona Tolhurst, look at the name she made. Look at all of you. You're all here because of the fine name that she made. I have some things to read from former students. This is from Savannah Scarborough, who graduated at MA in the class of 2021. Dr. Tolhurst was a wonderful professor, an incredible person. She pushed us to become our greatest selves. She went above and beyond for us, answering emails late at night and early in the morning, providing pages and pages of feedback on each rough draft, and dispensing wisdom she learned both from academia and life. I'll never forget that it is illegal in the state of Florida to refer to a person as that instead of who. Thank you, Dr. Tolhurst. You are greatly missed, Savannah. This one is from Etienne Wasson, who was MA English major, class of 2018. It feels impossible that Dr. Tolhurst is gone because she was always brimming with enthusiasm for life. I was fortunate to know her as her student, and I admired her constantly cheerful, energetic attitude. She made centuries-old literature not only relevant, but fascinating, exciting. I can still hear her teaching us how to say night the way Thomas Mallory would have, pronouncing the K and the G. Knight, I guess. I didn't know. I was never fortunate enough to be in her class. She was encouraging and kind to me, even driving me home on one occasion and to an academic conference on another. I wish I could thank her for the positive influence she had on my life. She was so sensible, yet so imaginative at the same time. I'll always remember her warmth and humor. She lived so well, so much. Etienne. And finally, Christina Prosnak, MA English class of 2017. Dr. Tolhurst was an amazing person. I want to say thank you for all that she did for me through my 2 years in the English MA program. She pushed me to do my very best in school and in life, and I wouldn't be the person I am today without her. I was saddened to hear she's no longer with us, but I am so grateful for the time we spent together. Thank you.
Jordan, thank you. I thought I was pulling teeth here.
So I have a few words from Fiona's former students to share, but before I get started, I wanted to share one of our favorite stories of Fiona. It was not long after the COVID lockdown, and Michael and I were not imprisoned, but enclosed in our house with our 5-year-old and 1-year-old at that point. And I remember Fiona calling me out of the blue and asking if she could bring Willow over to play in our backyard to serve as Willow TV for our boys so they could watch her out the window from inside, because we didn't know yet at that point if even being outside with other people were safe. And she spent more than an hour out there just running back and forth, playing with Willow, and our boys just absolutely loved it. And it was so generous of her. And it was really emblematic of her as a person and of her as a spirit. She was always thinking about other people and ways that she could bring them joy. I have 2 words from former students. The first is from Tyler Watson, who graduated in 2019, one of our MA students. He said, "Dr. Tolhurst was my professor for every semester of grad school, but she was also more than that. She was my mentor, my confidant, and my friend. When you spoke to her, you knew she was engaged in you and your ideas 100%. She cared about you, and she believed in you. The classes we shared in her neighborhood's community center created memories I will cherish forever. When we'd come back to visit from our visit to Jeeves, the smart coffee maker a few rooms down from where we'd meet, she'd be waiting there with us with a classic big smile, excited to talk more about Chaucer or crazy Marjorie Kemp. She was unique, full of energy, and wanted desperately for you to know that you were valued. I am heartbroken, but I am so glad I got to meet her. I say thank you to her for everything she did for me. I would not be the person I am today if I hadn't met her." The next statement is from Michaela Francis, a BA in English graduate in 2017. Michaela writes, "I was shocked and saddened to learn about the death of my mentor, Dr. Fiona Tolhurst. It's hard to say goodbye to someone who had a big impact on our lives. Please know that my deepest sympathies are with all loved ones. Dr. Tolhurst was thoughtful and generous, and her devotion to family, students, and church was admirable. I will cherish the memories I have of Dr. Tolhurst. She taught some of the most memorable classes that I took during my time at FGCU. One of my favorite memories is the time that we had to perform our Old English readings in front of the class. Dr. Tolhurst simply made learning enjoyable. I will always remember her for her compassion and wit, wishing her family and loved ones courage, strength, and love to help you through this loss."
Hi everyone, I'm Melody Eichbauer. I am not in language and literature, but I am a medievalist. Like Patrick, I met Fiona, I think the first week she was on campus, and she was my eating buddy. We'd go to dinner all the time, pretty much eat anything and everything on the menu, and I often envisioned that we'd retire on the competitive eating tour together, having something more exciting than hot dogs, but just eating all the time. There'll be a sad, lonely seat at the table without her. But I'd like to read some memories from former students and colleagues. The first is Elisa Torres, who received a BA in English in 2018. And she writes, "I'll never forget her dazzling bright smile that welcomed me on the first day of class. She taught me the enjoyable challenge of history, a subject I was least favorable of. Dr. Tolhurst broadened my appreciation of literature, learning, and love of life. While FGC was a great place with her in it, I have no doubt she left it in an even greater place. Her effect on us all will forever be immeasurable and profound. Thank you, Dr. Tolhurst, for blessing this world with your light. From her former college roommate at Rice, Beth White writes, Fiona was my college roommate at Rice University. I didn't know anything about Bronxville, New York, and had no idea what to expect, but she was perfect. Her smile, her kindness, her flexibility, and even back then, she knew what she wanted to be and knew the person she wanted to spend her life with. We haven't kept in touch in the past few years, but she has touched my life in ways I only wish I could express now. Rest in peace, Fiona. On behalf of Ann Latowski from the University of South Florida and also the president of the Southeastern Medieval Association, she writes on behalf of the association, I wish to extend our deepest gratitude and condolences to FGCU's family and friends and to the FGCU community. Fiona was a longtime and beloved member of SEMA, including a term on the executive council. She had many friends and admirers in the organization. Members and friends who wrote on our Facebook page and have sent notes to me personally have spoken of her brilliance as a scholar and of her generosity as a colleague. They admired the talent, commitment, and devotion that she brought to her collaborative projects. They also recall how much they enjoyed spending time with her and how much joy and energy she brought to any event she attended. And finally, they remembered her contagious smile and laughter and how much fun it was to dance with her at the big dance at the International Medieval Congress at Kalamazoo. We will miss her terribly, and I can say I've never laughed so hard as being with her at that event. And finally, Amanda Schulkit-Bouder, class of 2019 for an MA in English, writes, Dr. Tolhurst was an incredible professor, mentor, and dynamic woman all around. I'm grateful that I had a chance to experience grad school with someone as passionate as her, and I'll always remember her opening my very first medieval literature class with the phrase, it wasn't just knights and dark ages and knights kicking ass. Thank you.
I brought emotional support. I encourage you to do the same. I'm going to read some memories from some students that Fiona and I shared. Because I don't trust my own words right now. This is from Zachary Winograd, BA English major, class of 2018. Dr. Tolhurst was one of my most favorite professors during my time at FGCU. Her passion and love of teaching were so evident in every class I took with her. She always wanted to hear what we thought about our readings and made every point we made a part of the lesson, making us feel like we were her colleagues rather than students. She turned me on to medieval literature and helped me cultivate the same love and passion that she had for it. Words cannot describe how much I'll miss her and the great contribution she gave to my education. And Zachary included a quotation by Christine de Pizan, who, as many of you know, was one of Fiona's favorite authors. A woman with a mind is fit for any task. This next memory is from Alexandra Gabardiel, BA English, class of 2018. Dr. Tolhurst helped me to realize how much I love English literature. I changed my major to English because of a class I took with her. The energy and passion she had were infectious, and I'll always be thankful for her. Olivia Paolo, BA English major, class of 2018, wrote, I had a few of Dr. Tolhurst's classes as she was one of the only professors who taught the classes for my minor as well as my major. She was an incredible educator, able to make medieval literature as interesting as any current book. Only she could have gotten her class really excited about performing medieval plays in public, right here on this stage. She was a confident person who truly wanted to get to know her students. When I was walking off the stage with my diploma, she got out of her seat and pulled me in for a long hug, despite many gestures to keep the line moving. She was so inspiring, and I know whenever I talk about the great teachers I had, I'll always talk about her. Thanks, Dr. Tolhurst. Michaela Davis, BA English major, class of 2018. Dr. Tolhurst was an incredible mentor who cared so much for her students. She never failed to reach out and check on us, even after graduation. I went into my teaching career right after earning my degree, and I am still planning to earn my master's. I will never forget the encouraging words she shared, urging me to continue my education for my own sake and not settle for anything less than I deserved. It touched my heart. Her legacy lives on through her students as we try our best to make her proud. I will think of her often as I share what I've learned with students of my own, and I know that she's in heaven somewhere, probably correcting something I've said.
I don't think there are any other planned readers. So at this point, I would like to just open this up to anybody who wants to speak and say a few words about Fiona. Beyond that, there are sweet treats in the back. Fiona would have appreciated that. And thank you all so much for being here. And God bless Fiona.
Just, two little things about Fiona. She was very supportive of foreign languages. She was fluent in German, always saying, you know, my husband, he got his job because he knew German. So thank you, Fiona, for us. And Fiona was, my office is very close to her office, to where she was, and she was always passing, going to her. It was like this. Bonjour, ça va? So I'm gonna miss that. Bye-bye.
The troubles of being short. Oh, okay. Hi, everyone. I am Marina DeVito. I am a current MA student. I'm a current MA student, and this is Kat. She's in the same boat as I am. And I wrote a thank you letter to Dr. Tolhurst that I hold very near to me. When I first came to FGCU, I was terrified, absolutely terrified. And I walked into the Geoffrey Chaucer class, and I was like, why am I even doing this? I don't feel smart enough to even be in a class with someone who I've heard so many amazing things about. And she looked at me and she said this quote, he could learn and teach by Geoffrey Chaucer, something along those lines, and that stuck with me more than anything. She taught me to not be bashful and hold back on celebrating my accomplishments. She taught me that it's okay to share a voice with so many other amazing people. And that voice she gave to us. Dr. Sugimori, thank you for doing an excellent job with the capstone class. One of the last conversations I had with her, she told me she was so proud of all of her undergrad students, her graduate gals, as we referred herself to. And she was most of all so proud of every single person working in the language and literature department. She loved you all so much. So I think that this semester is going to be difficult for all of us. But I know for sure she'll still be with us every step of the way. And she'll be with us with that big, beautiful, heartwarming smile on graduation day. Thank you.
I don't think there's much to say to top that, but I do want to share a story, and I'm going to try to outrun the tears a little bit on this one. But this past fall semester, I took her medieval literature class over the summer with a bunch of the graduate students, and she encouraged us to apply and participate in a conference, which we all felt incredibly not ready for and humbled and not at all in the right boat to be participating with other scholars. And she really pushed us to do that. And after we participated, I remember she wanted for us all to meet and go to dinner, and so we all went to dinner together. And at the end, the check came, and she was like, "You guys are not paying for this meal, I'm paying for this." And we were like very upset. But if you knew Dr. Tolhurst, you knew there was no arguing with her. So that was not up for debate. But I remember what she told us, which is, "I want you guys to pay this forward." And I think for a lot of us who are headed down a similar path with teaching and hoping to maybe impact people half the way she impacted people, I hope we all pay it forward. Yeah, thank you.
I'm Jim Brock, and just a very proud colleague of Fiona Tolhurst. It's so good to see you all. My emotional support system is Virginia Woolf. This is from The Waves. And I thought about this quote because Fiona, let's face it, she was an odd bird. She would always come into my office. She was always coming to my office. I'm a hermit. I'm not real comfortable with that. But she was always there, and immediately, the first time she came into my office, like with Patrick, we shared war stories. If you're an academic of a certain age, you've probably been through the ringer a few times, and I know she made it very clear what ringers she had been through, and I shared my stories with her. And after that, she said, "But aren't we lucky to be here?" And she lived that every day. I'm so proud to have been her colleague. Let us sit here under the cut flowers on the sofa by the picture. Let us decorate our Christmas tree with facts and again with facts. People are so soon gone. Let us catch them. That man there by the cabinet, he lives, you say, surrounded by china pots. Break one and you shatter 1,000 pounds. And he loved a girl in Rome, and she left him. Hence the pots, old junk found in lodging houses or dug from the desert sands. And since beauty must be broken daily to remain beautiful, and he is static, his life stagnates in the China Sea. It is strange, though, for once as a young man, he sat on damp ground and drank rum with soldiers. And I think of that quote with Fiona in mind because I think as we've heard today, she touched so many people in so many different ways, and there was always so much more to her, always. playful, a little wicked, joyful, and a strange, beautiful bird I will never forget.
Hi everyone, I'm Dana Peteroy. I was BA MA English here at FGCU. I'm wearing this Minion shirt that she got me, not very professional, but she got me this shirt because Matt and I, she used to call us her minions during the internship we did with her. But I have my blazer, as she taught me, young teachers should wear blazers to feel powerful. I won't be able to say anything that you don't already know, but I wanted to share a little because anyone who listens deserves to know even more, even a little bit more, how great she was. Something that can sum up how we all feel about Dr. Tolhurst is something that Matt Reyes and I used to say all the time during our internship with her: Tolhurst for President of the World. It's rare to meet someone who has as much drive as Fiona Tolhurst, let alone have the honor to get to be her student, work under her, and be mentored by her. I knew every minute she gave to me was so valuable because she put that much effort into every conference, every email, and every phone call. I strive to have even a remnant of the passion she had for the things that she loved and for the students that she taught, and she really did love us students. Thank you all to my professors for having this event today, and from one teacher now, thanks to all of you and Fiona, to another, thank you to our professors for always inspiring us, and thank you to Dr. Tolhurst for teaching me so now I can teach other people. Thank you.
I don't generally speak with a microphone because, as Dr. Tolhurst would say in class, you're just really loud sometimes. That and also, Matt, please, we only have 55 minutes. Like, can you just like surmise everything? Elodie Eichbauer said, I would also find myself in times of just eating, and then suddenly Dr. Tolhurst would appear, but it wouldn't really be us eating together. It was more, I would be eating and then she would just show up and she would be like, hey, Matt. So, hearing the news about Dr. Tolhurst over the break was not easy, especially since I don't consider myself a medievalist in any sense, but it's very rare the individual that helps you recognize your self-worth and sort of what you mean, not only in real life, but also in an academic sense, especially for a major where you tell someone and generally you hear, so you're going into teaching. And she was like, you could do more than that. I didn't really plan to speak or say anything, but I was moved by what everybody else had to say about Dr. Tolhurst and the incredible inspiration that she was. I find myself surprisingly not being able to speak a lot, which if you've been in class, you know what's that's something, yeah, that's a lot. But I wanted to say thank you to Dr. Tolhurst, to Fiona for everything that she did, for the opportunity that she gave me as a research assistant and as, how Dana said, her minion. And to the overall incredible individual that she was. I don't think there's anybody else that I would say that completely changed a whole course of my life. So, thank you.
Don't worry, it's really short. I, like Matt, wasn't going to speak because I didn't think that I could emotionally handle it. And I kind of feel like I could really barf right now, so you're all in the safe zone, though. So, my name is E. I'm in the graduate program here at FGCU. And
I struggle a lot with being really proud of myself. So when I graduated with my bachelor's, I asked Dr. Tolhurst if I could send her a graduation announcement because I don't have many people I could have sent them to. And when I came back from graduating, she had it up in her office. And that just made me so proud of myself. And I remember a couple weeks ago, right before the break, she texted me reminding me that I was valuable and that I was loved, and to remind myself about that every hour. So I just am very appreciative for her as a mentor, but also just as someone who genuinely made me really proud of myself. So I miss her a lot. But yeah, I'm gonna stop crying now.
Hi, everybody. I'm Garrett. I'm a BA of 2017, MA of 2019, and an adjunct professor here, all because of Dr. Tolhurst. I don't have much to add that everybody hasn't said, but I have two personal anecdotes, one from the beginning of my education and one from the end. At the beginning, I wasn't able to finish college when I left high school. And eventually I decided to come down to FGCU, and I was, as every diligent student does, looked at Rate My Professor, and found not the easy teachers, because I was a little older and I really wanted to be pushed. So I came across her entry, which was exactly what I wanted, Arthurian literature, are you kidding? And it was, her entry basically unanimously was the best professor I've ever had, incredibly hard. And I was like, cool, sign me up, let's go. So I get to class, I'm waiting for the teacher to come in, and the biggest smile and her bouncy step came into the room. And immediate stars, she was exactly what I wanted. So the first paper came along, and I put everything I had into it because I wanted her to be proud, like a lot of other people said, and it was a fail. And that was the best I had. So I ended up going to her office every single week, usually multiple times a week for the rest of the semester. And I never, from that point on, I was nothing but A's and good work because she always was there to help no matter what. And in that time, we became friends. We spent hundreds of hours together. I ended up taking her every semester through BA and MA. And for the final anecdote, she took us out to dinner when we graduated, and we went to her favorite sushi restaurant. It was delicious. And when we were in the parking lot about to leave, she was gushing about the professor that she took in college that she had taken 6 classes with, and how it shaped her into who she was, and how she had nothing but admiration and respect for him. And she said she took him 6 times. And I smiled and gave her a hug and told her I took her 6 times. And she is quite literally the reason I am who I am today. She's gonna be missed terribly. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Catherine, and I am a grateful graduate of the English program here, 2012, I think, and 14. There have been many teachers within our English program here who have made a large impact on myself and many other students, but I want to take a moment to recognize the impact Dr. Tolhurst had on my current research. My last interaction with her, I had reached out because I was so disheartened and discouraged, and I didn't even know what I was going to be pursuing in my research. And she took kind time to meet with me in the afternoon. And I remember just through her imposing questions and her mentoring, I left her office feeling so much more inspired and energized and excited. And I think that that was the kind of passion and energy that she shared in the classroom and with all of her students. And I think that that's part of her legacy here. So thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Kaylee. So much louder up here. Dr. Tolhurst and I, we had a really special relationship over Canvas. I was really scared to approach her in her office. Like, I'm sure everyone knows it's so scary to go to someone's office, and I tried the first week of class because, they're like, make a good impression, but I couldn't go because she was in the glass box, and it's just too much for me. I was expecting like a cubicle. So I Canvas messaged her just telling her I was excited for the class, and I Canvas messaged her at like 1 a.m. because I was like, I don't know, and then she responded to me a couple hours later, at about 4:30 in the morning. And I really feel like we always call it our Canvas friendship because we both woke up really early, and sometimes we just have really nice conversations at like 4:30 in the morning or 5:30. And I remember I told her, I'm like, I should probably come like to your office. She's like, come to my office. I'm like, okay. So my heart was like pounding, and then she's like, hi. I'm like, okay, it's gonna be fine. And then we talked about our Canvas encounters, and we ended up having conversations in our Canvas comments. So sometimes I go back to our class and remember that, like, I don't think I've ever had a professor who I talked to at like 3:30 in the morning about my paper or grammar, and she's like, you need to learn the difference between that or that versus who. I'm like, you're so right. So I just remember like even going through a little bit tougher time, like she took the time to have a Zoom meeting with me and tell me like you can do it, like you just have to get out of the way of yourself. And I just miss her Canvas messages. It's the only teacher, well, actually that's not true. I have a lot of good teachers here, but I did especially look forward to her Canvas messages and just miss her a lot. And thank you to Dr. Jackson and Dr. Sugimori for taking over. Like I can't imagine how hard it is, but we're all really appreciative of you. So just thank you, everyone.
Hi, I'm Mary Kronomanovsky. I'm a colleague of Fiona's. First, I want to thank all of you that have already spoken. I had no intention whatsoever to speak today, but hearing all of your comments has given me that desire and that courage. I was on the search committee that hired Fiona, or recommended her for hiring. I didn't know I was hiring one of my closest friends for the next few years. Like Jim, I'm more like his personality than Fiona's, and she drew me out of that lots of times. We had a budding friendship and collegial kind of relationship until I discovered her shared love of running. And I convinced her in 2018 to train for her first half marathon, which she completed in stellar fashion, much faster than I did. And wanted to do another one within 6 months when I'd only done one a year at that point, but we did another. And we kept training together from there, even when we didn't have the race as a goal. If you've had a running buddy or somebody like that in an activity, it is one of the finest ways to be alone together, and to knowing how Fiona, all of you have noticed how she shared and talked, that I learned a lot about her, and I shared a lot with her over those miles. And last fall we were still meeting every Saturday and running miles and miles, and to me, she just never stopped, and so I have to think of her as just still going for that next mile. So I think we didn't quite get to our goal, so I think I have to run 10 miles before the semester is over. But I will try. Thank you.
I'm Ira Mendible. I'm in the English program here. I wasn't going to say anything either, but I'm going to be very brief. I was thinking about writers and teachers. They have something in common. They want to leave something behind when they go on. And listening to her students and her colleagues and her friends here today, I want to remind you that she left a lot behind. And that it doesn't end, that you, her students especially, you're carrying it on. And those of you who are teachers, you're carrying it on. And you're leaving something behind when you influence the next generation of students. So thank you, all of you, especially her students today, for being here and giving her this loving send-off. She is smiling.
Hi there. My name is Patience. I'm currently a senior in English here at FGCU. If you had told me by the end of last semester that I would have been able to read Geoffrey Chaucer English and understand it, I probably would have believed you. If you had told me that I would now be occasionally reading it for fun because I genuinely find it interesting, I would not have. I almost didn't take her class, and I think it was one of the great coincidences of life that I did happen to take it her last semester teaching here. I remember the very first week of class, I was sitting with my friend Megan in the library, and we opened the book and we looked at it and we were like, this is not English. These are not words. You cannot read this. You cannot comprehend this. Like, how am I ever going to get through this class? But anyone who took Professor Tolhurst knows that she will get you through that class. She was always there to help out any student, anytime, whenever you needed it. Because she was so much more than just a professor. She was a friend. She was a mentor. She was an enthusiastic educator who made you care about what she was teaching just from the way she taught it. Because of her class, I have made some of the greatest friends of my life. I have a newfound love for another part of English that I never would have even looked at. And I had one of the greatest mentors that I have ever had. Someone that I aspire to be like as I grow. When I started this last semester, I was not in the best place, and I was very anxious to be back on campus. I had spent so much of my life trying to put myself back in my shell. I didn't want to stand out too much. I didn't want to be too loud. I didn't want to be too weird. And I found it interesting that Professor Brock referred to her as an odd bird, because I remember her referring to herself as that the very first week of class. And if there's anything that I took away from her, it was that I don't have to be embarrassed. I don't have to be ashamed of who I am. And I can be very proud and successful as an odd bird.
Hello, my name is Lexi. I never had the honor to actually have her as a professor. I just have been in the English program and all around campus for a while, and I didn't really realize how many times we had interacted until one day she just stopped. We passed each other in the hallway and we stopped, and then she started telling me about her week and like this awful headache she had and how she started crying yesterday. And then suddenly I realized, oh, all right, cool. So she actually recognizes me. We have a relationship. And I remember going to a storytelling event and sitting around a bonfire, and she shared a story about losing a parent. And I just remember her story was so honest and raw and funny. And I know that this celebration of life would mean so much to her because it's all of those things that matter to her.
Okay, sounds like that's it for the one-on-one sharing. I would encourage you to mingle and share some more stories and have some treats. You want one? You got one? Come on. We got time. We got nothing but time. Anyways, after this one, again, thank you all for coming.
Hi, I'm Ezra Wilson. I had a class with Dr. Tolhurst my freshman year here, and now I'm in my first year in the master's program in English. And like I'm sure some of you that are here might be in my same position where I didn't have the close relationship with Dr. Tolhurst that many of you had, but I always heard about her all the time. I think everyone going into the master's program in particular who knows how much how much control and how much responsibility and her huge role in the program gets excited for oh, I'll get to have her as a mentor. I'll get to know her better on a even beyond a professional level because as you know, she would come up to you and talk about her life and everything. It was amazing. She had this way about her of she could make whoever she was talking to feel like the most important person in the room. And I wanted to read, after I heard what happened over break, I wrote to her email address, I wrote out a message that I'd like to read now. That's okay. Hi, Dr. Tolhurst. I know you're not around anymore, so it feels kind of silly to be sending an email like this. I just wanted to write a send-off of sorts because I was devastated when I heard about what happened, and I wish you were here to read this. Fiona, I hope it's okay if I call you that. I've always thought you had the coolest full name ever. I wish I could have told you all of this before you were gone. You're by far the most motivated person I've ever met. All of us in the English department are amazed by how many responsibilities you can juggle and still get up early to run with your dog every day. Pardon my French, but Tolhurst has her shit together is basically a truism in the department at this point. I have always envied the closeness that I know some of my classmates had gone on to have with you. Hearing about your loss has made me think about all the stuff I'll never get to say to you. I know there are a lot of misconceptions I still have about the medieval era, so I was incredibly excited to learn more deeply in your graduate courses. If I can manage to motivate myself to do so, you always knew I struggled with this. I'll make an effort to learn about medieval literature as a way of honoring you. Even if I never do, I want you to know that I really wanted to. I was both parts excited and intimidated to begin working more with you in the graduate program. From when I first met you my freshman year, I've always really looked up to you. I was worried you didn't like me at first because I couldn't read you at all, but eventually I found out that that's a trademark Tolhurst trait that everybody I've ever spoken to about this loves you for. I was always surprised and happy whenever you'd see me around campus and enthusiastically say hello. You have a way of making whoever you're talking to feel like the most important person in the room. I've never, ever felt like you weren't truly listening attentively to everything I was saying. Whenever we've run into each other, you've always come across as being genuinely invested in hearing about my life and happy that I'm doing well. Even your brief congrats email reply to my entrance into the English MA program meant a lot to me. I want to keep going on, but now seems like a good place to stop. I just wish you could know how much you meant to me, even though you never interacted with me as much as you did with some of my English major peers. Rest well, forever wishing you the best. Ezra.
6 unplugged them.